So I want to thank you for joining me today on the new now high-end Highness Wow Factor Evolution. I am Majesty AliNICOLE Wow, and I'm going to jump right in to talking about how you need to start evolving more of your high-end frameworks. And this primarily is going to be focusing on those who are in the solo entrepreneur arena. And so I want to dive right into talking about taking certain aspects that you do within your business for free and really high-end-tizing those types of experiences and starting to charge for them. Okay, so I recently put up a post on Facebook, and I'm actually going to have the link to that post in the description, where I was double daring and challenging entrepreneurs to take something free that they do, like a teleclass, a seminar, because you see that, and most of you who are in the entrepreneurial arena are used to giving a lot of free teleseminars and different talks. But there comes a time where you actually need to take that free talk, in a sense, and convert it into some type of digital product. So, what my encouragement and empowerment was around taking that free talk that's maybe 30 to 45 minutes and turning it into a $97 digital evergreen product, and then leveraging maybe a free talk, if you will, something like a short 15-minute Facebook Live. You can also do like a YouTube, video, or YouTube Live or so, or a blog post that promotes that. And you can add tremendous value, of course, within that free experience, because you need to, but I wouldn't make it over 15 minutes. In fact, it can be something as short as 5 minutes, just to set individuals up for the actual product. Then I was inviting them to take some next steps and to use the $97 digital evergreen product really as a pre-requirement for a 997 or 1,097, right under 2,000, to have sort of a mentor coaching session. And yes, I said just a session. So if you take, a less than 2,000, little under $2,000, and have a 90-minute mentoring session. But for some of you who may think, oh, it's a stretch, then just do the 997 instead of the 1,000, kind of the 1,900 range. So just lean into that. Then there's another stretch to then, at the end of that 90-minute session, start to introduce a 20K 90-day VIP customized coaching experience. Some of you are thinking, what? That's a huge jump. That's a huge shift. How do we go from actually charging for a 90-minute session $1,000, and then right under $2,000 just for that 90-minute session, and then asking us to then introduce a 20K, a 90-day 20K program? It's like, what? Again, this is about shifting into a new trajectory of a high-end experience, where you really do need to value and honor yourself and reframe how you see and experience high-end, and stop following the traditional models that you see out there that are telling you how you achieve this. Because those models, first of all, a lot of those don't work. And even though they have been successful for those who are actually teaching that, remember, everyone's business and branding is different, right? And even what I'm providing here may seem like some type of template that you say, well, that wouldn't work for me. But it is an exercise that you need to engage in, even if it is to get the energy moving differently, which is something I talked about actually, on the post. And so I'm actually going to share a little bit from the post. I'm actually over here now. So let me just read the post. So some of this I've already talked about, with you all, but I'm going to actually read the post. So it says, I double dog dare some of you entrepreneurs this month to take something that you're doing for free, like a 30 to 45-minute teleseminar, and turn it into a $97 digital evergreen product. The only thing you should be providing free around that is a preview to the product via a 15-minute Facebook Live, a YouTube video, or a blog post, which I shared, just off the top of my head about, this with you all earlier. Then the next steps is to next step it up and use that $97 digital evergreen product as a pre-requirement for one of your $997 90-minute mentoring consulting sessions. But I also had where you could do it under a little bit under $2,000. Then at the end of that session, that 90 minutes session, segue and introduce your 20K 90-day VIP co-creation customized coaching experience if it's a right fit. So I'm challenging you to create this, even if you don't leverage it at this time. If you don't expand the way that you serve and provide value with the win-win in mind for both you and your prospects, you will keep settling. While most will think that's a huge gap or leap in price from one experience to the next. Though it might seem like that, just remember that you're creating the experience for the one or ones that are ready for this. Then I offer the opportunity to coach yourself. And so there's 3 questions, and I want you to think about this as well. So what does my converted free offering into a $97 digital product, what does that look like? Right? What does that look like? So also your 997 mini mentoring session experience, like what are you creating? What $997 mini mentoring session experience am I creating? So think about that. And then the next question was, my 90-day 20K customized coaching experience looks like. And so, what does that look like? So these are questions that I really want you to sit with and to consider. And I'm going to come back and talk about this a little bit more in another segment, but I wanted to introduce this today. So before I actually close out, something I do want to talk about is you don't have to have, obviously, these things created right now, even to facilitate this, okay? But you need to be in this type of mindset. It's based around the questions that I provided. And when I talked about at the end of the 90-minute mentoring session about introducing that 20K program or experience, I should say, you're just introducing it. You're not actually trying to sell anyone on that. You're just letting them know that that's a more expanded experience. And it's not that you can't offer something else, in between, but you want to actually start in that higher end experience. Because people who are willing to pay $2,000 or $1,000 just even for what would be in a mini session, kind of a consulting or consultation in a sense, exploration, in a mentor experience, they'll be willing to actually pay that type of money, because you got to remember, you're attracting a different type of clientele. But you want to create from this framework. You don't want to create from the traditional models, because even if you don't feel that you could land in this type of trajectory, you want to create from this type of experience so that at least if it were a middle ground somewhere, you could land still profitable for a win-win for you and the prospect within that. So maybe you don't get a 90-day client, VIP client for the 20K. But what if you get a 10K for the 90 day? What if you even get a 5K, especially if you're not already getting that? Some people are trying to look for that, they're having even 9-month, year-long programs just for less than $3,000 or so. And like, no, create it where there's a 90-day experience that you're charging for that. You create it, and at least you can create the vibration for that type of experience. So I just want you to think about that, all right? Because you're stepping into the new now experience, and you have to start doing what I created and coined is High-END-i-tize. But you want to put in big energy first in terms of the experience that you want to create. And again, you don't have to have a program or a process laid out at this point. You can do the exploration of the questions, like I mentioned, and then some insights will come. What are some tentative things that maybe you do need to share, but don't feel like you actually need to create a literal program, because you and that prospect or that client will co-create and customize what that experience is going to look like. So that takes the pressure off of you at this point, trying to figure out how I'm going to create this program. No, it's just how is really the process going to be facilitated. So I'm going to do a follow-up training, if you will, around this initiative. But within the description, there's going to be information. And if some of you actually need help in terms of creating this type of experience, then I might know a gal who can help you with that. Or a majesty, a highness, if you will, who can help you with that. So I just wanted to sort of introduce this to those who aren't even thinking in terms of taking something that they've done for free and high-END-i-tizing it in a way to make it a literal experience that people pay for, and then using it as a prerequisite for another experience. So again, I'll talk a little bit more about this in another segment. And so this is just to provide some evolutionary expanded awareness today, again, for those who aren't really used to thinking in this way, who've been doing a lot of free talks, and it actually is not paying off or converting into something more meaningful for impact and income. All right, so Your Majesty is signing off for this moment, but I look forward to bringing you more high-end evolutionary concepts for this new now experience of taking your impact and your income to the next high-end level. And I will be back with you in another episode.